All right, so the next dissection is going to be the digestive system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to more fully open up the abdominal cavity. And the first thing I notice right here is this flap right here, this flap of like muscle. So if I like just grab at this, there's like a flap right there. That, and it goes like in a ring like this, that is the diaphragm. So when you take in a deep breath and you're expanding your diaphragm. So I'm going to keep cutting along right here and cut along the top of the diaphragm.
So it goes this way to that way?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to cut through the diaphragm a little bit on this side.
Why intestines are so big?
The intestines are really big. Okay, so I can see there's the diaphragm. All right, I'm going to cut out the bottom of the diaphragm just so I can open up a little bit more clearly. There we go. And back that up. Okay. So, while I'm in this view, there's a couple things that I can see. So first off, this is all small intestine. And if I were to take that all out and stretch it out, it would measure about 20 feet. Okay? And you can see it goes all the way up here. It's all convoluted. This right here is the large intestine. So this is where the food will get just all the digested food. It's all been just broken down into stuff that the pig can't digest anymore. And basically at that point, it'll get some nutrient or vitamins absorbed through bacteria, and then feces will form. So there is, just like in a baby, feces inside this, but the feces that's formed is called meconium. And the meconium is basically like a greenish type. One of the things you notice right here, there's basically like an end right here. That's called the cecum. And this is something that you don't have. What we have instead of this cecum is called the appendix. So they have a much larger portion if I cut this back. So it's basically where the small intestine is going to enter into the large intestine. And if I kind of pull this away, you can see there, right there, is where the small intestine, right here, that's the small intestine, and that's where it enters the large intestine. But again, it has this like dead end over here. It's kind of like a cul-de-sac. And what we have instead of that is the appendix. Now the hypothesis as to why we have that is because we don't need this extra bit of our large intestine because we have been cooking our food, and we have a much more a different type of diet than they do. So our body doesn't waste its time building a big long cecum. Okay, so that's, again, this is the large intestine. This part of the large intestine is called the cecum. Then you have the small intestine. The small intestine wraps around for about 20 feet. The large intestine would go about 3 feet. Okay, so some other things that I can see in here. So this little flap right here, that's actually not part of the digestive system, but it's the spleen. And the spleen is a lymph node, so it produces white blood cells, but it also will clean out dead red blood cells. And then right next to the spleen is this sac right here. That is the stomach. So if you look, Gabe, this is the stomach. Okay? It might be easier for you to see on the screen, Gabe. So there's the stomach.
Stomach?
If I pull the stomach away, if I look underneath the stomach and I'm going to start pulling away, this is again called mesentery. It's related, it's in the same system as skin, and it protects all the different organs. And I pull this in, and I need to get in a little bit closer so I can see myself. I'm going to pull away mesentery because this organ that I'm looking at right now is very fragile. This right here, if I peel away. Okay, do you get enough light? Okay, peel away a little bit more. And you can see, all right, we need to pull your head away a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you, Gabe. Okay.
You're going to need a blow.
Okay, so if I look right in here, see this like thing that kind of looks like chewed up gum right there? Yeah, let me dab it with some paper towel. Hell, I need a drier one. I got one right here. Okay, there we go. Right here, this is the pancreas. Okay, so the pancreas is going to be the part that's going to produce pancreatic juice, and it's also going to produce insulin and glucagon. And if I trace that back, I should be able to see some ducts. All right, and one of the things I need to see if I can find is as I find the stomach right here, there's like a little more muscular region of the stomach right there. Okay, I'm gonna back that up. Let's see if I can turn it.
You have to find it. There you go.
There you go. That right there, that is the pyloric sphincter. So it's the part that actually like will close off the stomach so that it can't go down. And then this region of the small intestine, it's like the bigger region right here. It's called the duodenum, or you might pronounce it the duodenum. Okay, so if I pull this back, and I should be able to see a duct right here. See this duct right there? That is what injects pancreatic juice into the duodenum. And then if I go back, there's another duct that it splits off. It's all called the common duct, and it's going to come from the gallbladder. And the gallbladder is right here. I'm going to pull it away. That is the gallbladder, found just tucked in. It has its own little pocket underneath of the liver. So this is the gallbladder. And again, it has the same common duct going to the same spot in the duodenum. So what the gallbladder does is it produces an emulsifying agent called bile. And bile is going to kind of do the same thing that soap does to grease. It's going to break up the fat down into little tiny droplets. That's going to make it more easy to absorb and digest. All right, the final thing that we're going to see here, this real big part right here, if I kind of just use my finger to push down, this right here, there's 1, 2, and I'm going to use my scissors to open up the diaphragm a little bit more to go back. And then I see the third lobe of the liver. So there's 1, 2, 3 lobes of the liver. And the liver is like the biggest internal organ. It's like the digestive. So again, you got the 1, 2, 3. So then again, that right there is the gallbladder. This is the stomach. You have the small intestine, the large intestine. You have the pancreas, and then you have this common duct right here that is going to put pancreatic juice, and then on this side, the other branch of it is here, and that's going to put the bile into the small intestine. And again, if I look at this view here, now I can also see there's the other. This is the other kidney. And kind of clean, moving away some of the stuff. The other ureter, and again, there's still the ovary and the fallopian tubes. And this last part down here, this is called the descending colon. So basically at the base of this is the rectum, and this is basically where poop, the feces, will sit until it actually is ready to leave through the anus, which we already saw what the anus looked like from the outside. The one part of the digestive system you're not going to be able to see from this view is the esophagus. So the esophagus, if I kind of pull away back the stomach, okay, I can see up here is where the esophagus ends, which would be called the cardiac sphincter, right up here. Okay, so this is underneath the diaphragm. So there's the cardiac sphincter. So the next dissection you're going to watch is going to be, I'm going to do the thoracic cavity so that you'll be able to see the heart, the lungs, and then also the esophagus and trachea.